Hi everyone, my name is Evelyn and I am one of the tutors here at the International Office at DBU. Today I wanted to make a video for you about plagiarism and how to avoid it. Plagiarism is a word that you will hear a lot no matter where you're studying in the United States. What it basically means is using someone else's words or ideas and calling them your own, or making them look like your own. One form of plagiarism can be on purpose. That would be copying somebody else's work, either your classmates or something you find on the internet, just copying it and turning it in as if you wrote it yourself. But it can also be accidental. For example, if you read something in your research and you think that's a great idea, and you put it into your paper or your discussion board or your assignment, but you forget to put where that information came from, that is also plagiarism, and you can actually get in a lot of trouble for it. So first, why is it a big deal? Well, intellectual property is the idea that even though words and ideas are not tangible, they can be owned and they can be stolen. That means if you think of something, or write something, or make something, it belongs to you. And if somebody else tries to use it and make it look like they wrote it, or they thought of it first, that's just as bad as stealing something physical. In the US, stealing words and ideas is almost as big a deal as stealing actual stuff. In university, you can get zeros on assignments or face discipline for plagiarism. Outside of school, you can actually face legal charges for taking other people's ideas and passing them off as yours. One of the main ways to avoid plagiarism is called paraphrasing. What it means is that when you find information you want to use in your assignments, instead of copying the exact words, you rewrite it into new words. You say it differently, you say it your own way. You still have to give credit for the idea, but then you can use the information without putting quotation marks on it. And you can write it your own way so that it fits with the tone of whatever assignment you're doing. Let me give you an example of how I would do this with just one sentence. Okay, I'm looking at a web page from the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. And this is an essays page with an essay about the Roman Empire. So I'll scroll down to the essay, and I see that it's written by Christopher Lightfoot. So if I use any information from this essay, I need to make sure that his name is on it and the address of where this came from. So let's say I really like this sentence here. Peace and prosperity were maintained in the provinces, and foreign policy, especially under Augustus and Tiberius, relied more on diplomacy than military force. That's some useful information. If I want to put that into my assignment, I can, but there are certain things that I need to do. Let's look at my options. Option 1 is to paste the exact words directly into what I'm writing. However, I can't put them there with nothing else. They can't be by themselves. If I'm going to use the exact words, I need quotation marks before and after. And I also need what we call a citation. A citation is the little bit of information that you put in parentheses after you write something that tells you where you got the information from. So in this case, I'm going to put the author's last name in parentheses here. This tells me that Lightfoot was the guy who wrote this. Now, I'm not going to show you how to do the long citations at the end of the paper right here, but it is worth understanding that we also need to add a longer citation at the end of whatever we're writing that includes the author's full name and the year that the article was written, where it's published, and a few other pieces of information. But for today, we'll just look at what we do with the text itself. So this was one option. This is a quotation, quoting the direct words of somebody else. But let's say I don't want to put an actual quotation. I'd rather change the words up, but keep the information. It might look something like this. Here's my paraphrase. During this time, the provinces were relatively untroubled and experienced little conflict. The emperors, particularly Augustus and Tiberius, tended to resolve conflicts through negotiations rather than violence. It's not a perfect paraphrase, but the important thing is that I'm using the information in this top sentence and saying it a new way, explaining it in my own words. I'm not borrowing the author's words to write it. Now, even though these are my words, it's still Christopher Lightfoot's information. So I still need that citation here at the end. We don't have time in this video to go over all of the details about citations, but I do want to give you a couple of resources that hopefully will make it easier. First, there's the Purdue OWL. OWL stands for Online Writing Lab, and this is one of the best tools on the internet for figuring out how to write citations. If you go to the website and scroll down to Most Popular Resources, you can find the APA Formatting and Style Guide and the MLA Formatting and Style Guide. This covers a lot of the assignments that you will be given at DBU. Let's take a quick look at what the MLA guide looks like. When we come here to the MLA Formatting and Style Guide, we can scroll down and it tells us what the basic format is supposed to be. Then, over on the left, you can select the specific topic that you need help with. Another great resource is the DBU Writing Center. If we go to the DBU Writing Center page, we can click over here on the right on Quick Reference Flyers. This will give us simplified versions of the same resources that we can get on the OWL. So if we're looking for how to cite sources, we can click the little plus, and then over here, there's Turabian tips, there's different formatting styles. So for each style, there is a packet and a sample that you can look at of what the format is supposed to be like and how to cite your sources. Hopefully these resources are helpful to you as you have papers and assignments to complete. The last topic regarding plagiarism that I want to introduce you to is the idea of plagiarism checkers. Now these are not foolproof, but they can be helpful. From my research, it looks like the best plagiarism checker that you can use online is made by Grammarly. Unfortunately, they don't have a free version that can check for plagiarism. So if you want the plagiarism checker on Grammarly, you're going to have to make an account and pay a subscription. But I did a little bit of research, and another good plagiarism checker that you can use for free is on Qtext. You do also need to make an account, but you don't need to pay anything. So I'm going to show you quickly what it looks like to check for plagiarism in Qtext. Let's look at the sentence that we wrote earlier. I'm going to take this sentence that is directly copied from the website and paste it into the plagiarism checker. Okay, so now that I've pasted it in, I click Check Plagiarism. Okay, so the checker found that this was 100% plagiarized. This is correct. We took this sentence word for word from a website. So if you ever see this, you know that something is wrong and you need to give credit to someone else for what you wrote. Now, let's try a new search with the paraphrase that we wrote. Look at that, no plagiarism found. Now, as I said, plagiarism checkers are not perfect, so you can't rely on them completely to do your work. But you can use them to help you check your work, so that if you missed something, it can point it out and you can make sure to cite your source or to paraphrase instead of copying the exact words. Thanks for watching this little video. I hope it's been helpful and that you can use some of these tips to avoid plagiarism in the future and actually make your writing better. As always, if there's anything in this video that you're not sure about or you need help putting into practice, we at the International Office would be thrilled to help you. Thanks for watching.